Alright, let's get on to the configuration, and let's get into global config mode here. And the first thing we're going to do is configure that access list, and we'll call it IP access list extended, and we'll just call this one Norman to Gainesville. Now let's define those IP address ranges and permit IP, and our local, and notice that mask is a wildcard mask, and then the remote side is 192.168.2.0 with the wildcard mask 000.255. Let's get out of this access list configuration. Next thing we'll want to do is create this ISACAMP policy, and you have to number it, so we'll just call this ISACAMP policy 1. You can have multiple policies on the same router, and we'll just say authentication is pre-share. We are using a pre-shared key. Get out of that. Next is the ISACAMP key, and we're going to define this as between the two hosts here, or the two routers. The key we're using is champions, like national champions. Address is 10.1.1.2. That's your peer address, actually. Make sure that's the other router's address. Now is the transform set that we're going to configure. It's crypto IPsec transform set, and you can name it whatever you want. It's here we'll just name it 3des HMAC. We're using those algorithms. You can hit question mark at the end of that name and see what else you can configure for it. Just use the triple des HMAC for this one. Now is the crypto map. We'll just call it 2 Florida 1 IPsec ISACAMP, and that last statement lets the router know that we're using a pre-shared key, and we've manually defined it. And our peer again is 10.1.1.2. The transform set we're going to use is the one we named triple des HMAC, and this one is the match address list, and we're going to reference the access list using those sources and destinations, and the name actually reflects what that access list is. It's anything from Norman to Gainesville. Now we've got to apply it to an interface. In this case it's fast ether 0.0, and it's just crypto map to Florida. And now this is applied on this side. Still not complete. We've got to do it over in Gainesville. Alright, we're going to do the same thing on the Gainesville side. Global config mode. Let's get that access list configured here. And it's going to be the reverse, and it has to be the exact reverse of what you have on the other side. Something within IPsec will not let the tunnel be built if you've got one or more statements in the access list on either side to define the tunnel. They've got to be the exact reverse of each other, so keep that in mind. Next is the ISACAMP policy, and this also has to match as what's on the other side. In this case we're using pre-shared keys, so the peer knows how to negotiate those keys. And here we're defining the key. Of course, this is like a password. It's got to be the same between the two, so that they know they're talking to the right guy. And the address is the Norman side. That means your peer. Okay, so next is a crypto IPsec transform set. This name here doesn't have to be the same, but we'll just keep it consistent. The encryption algorithms, however, have to be the exact same, using triple des SHA HMAC. Okay, now the crypto map we're going to name here is 2 Oklahoma, and again defining IPsec using ISACAMP. Our peer is Oklahoma 10.1.1.1. The transform set we're going to use is the one we just made, triple des HMAC, and the access list we're going to use is Gainesville to Norman. We can type it right. Okay, and the last step we've got to do it, apply it to an interface. And again, fast ether 0.0. Crypto map is 2 Oklahoma Let me see, it's turned on. Alright, so let's verify this with a ping. Now the tunnel needs traffic across it anyway to come up, so if you don't see it up at first, set some traffic across and usually it'll just come right up if you got it configured right. We'll ping loopback to loopback and we've got a response. Good. And we show crypto ISACamp essays. Very useful command. You see the peers and you want that state to say QM idle. The next command I want to show you is show crypto map, and this is going to be just general information regarding the transform sets and the peer and the SA lifetime if you're comparing it to the other router. The next one is show crypto IPsec, and let's see what it is here. It's IPsec SA. Right, and this is going to show you statistics on the encapsulation and encryption and decryption. If you got numbers here, your tunnel is working. Alright, back on the Norman router here, and we're just going to show crypto ISACamp SA. Ooh, and no peers. Okay, this is a little bit of a problem, but let's see what we can find out here. Let's ping the other interface just through non-encrypted here. Just ping that 10.1.1.2. Okay, we're getting a response. Our crossovers cable's good. Physical layer and layer 2 and 3 are good. Let's try to send a ping across to the other side of the tunnel into that loopback. 2.1. We're going to source it from our loopback, right? Because it won't get encrypted if it's sourced from the 10 network. Sourced from 1.1. Let's skip through those. All right. There you go. After one drop, we finally get to come. Let's try that command again. Show crypto ISACamp SA. Again, if it's idle too long, the tunnel will drop. So it's got to have traffic across it to create itself again. Alright, finally let's review the configuration steps one last time. First we created an access list. Remember, this has to be the opposite on either end of the tunnel for the tunnel to work. It also has to have the same number of lines and the same networks defined, or the tunnel will not work. Next is the ISACamp policy. Then the ISACamp pre-shared key. Remember, the pre-shared key was the password champions, and then you define also the peer address of the router on the opposite end of this tunnel. Next is the IPsec transform set. Remember, it was the triple DES SHA HMAC encryption, and then we roll all those configurations up into what's called a crypto map. Remember, it's the access list rolled up into that, the transform set also, and the peer. And finally, that crypto map needs to be applied to an interface for it to work and start encrypting some traffic. That music means that it's time to go. If you have any questions or comments, please post them. If you have requests for videos or topics, send them to me. Get in touch with me somehow. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.